I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. The AFP news agency reports that the Palestinians will decide within the next few weeks which international organizations they will join after their upgraded status to non-member observer state at the UN last month. Palestinian negotiator Mohammed Shtaya told the news agency on Friday that a legal team has been put together to decide which organization should be applied to first and what the pros and cons are. Shtaya said, "We are considering all organizations, including the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court, and ICJ, which is the International Court of Justice." With respect to pursuing claims against Israel in international legal forums, Shtaya said that if Israel continues to commit settler violence, financial violence against our people, then I think Israel is actually pushing us to go into that direction even faster than we want. Applying to the ICC is the first step the Palestinians would need to take before being able to bring charges there against Israel. And the Jerusalem Post reports that Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Michael Oren said that the Israeli government needs to be prepared for that very scenario. As we reported to you earlier this week, both Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and other Palestinian officials have warned of going to the ICC if Israel goes ahead with its plans to build in the controversial E1 area that connects Jerusalem to Ma'ale Adumim. Oren said, "We have to prepare for the possibility that they will take that step. We can't discount it." The U.S. has also expressed opposition to Israeli building in E1, but the U.S. also opposes Palestinian moves against Israel at the ICC. Oren said recently of the Israeli decision to build in E1 after the Palestinian UN bid that the Israeli government felt a need to signal to the Palestinians that if they were going to take unilateral steps, we too could take unilateral steps, but we are doing it in a preliminary way, he said. The plans for E1 are preliminary and they will take several years to implement. During that time, Oren said, "Our hope still remains that the Palestinians will come to the negotiating table." A newly declassified CIA damage assessment of the Jonathan Pollard case, published today by the National Security Archive at George Washington University, states that when Pollard spied for Israel in 1984 and 85, his Israeli handlers asked primarily for nuclear, military, and technical information on the Arab states, Pakistan, and the Soviet Union, not on the United States. The assessment includes a heading called "What the Israelis Did Not Ask For," and says that they never expressed interest in U.S. military activities, plans, capabilities, or equipment. Speaking to Shalom TV, senior fellow at the National Security Archive Jeffrey Richler said the assessment would probably not change people's minds as to whether Pollard should be released anytime soon or not. Richardson did say that the report was valuable in that it adds to the historical record of the case. There are many in the Jewish world who feel that for U.S. administration after U.S. administration to refuse to grant Pollard clemency suggests that there is information the public still does not have, which would indicate why Pollard's actions warrant the extreme punishment and why the U.S. continued to refuse to grant him clemency. Shalom TV will certainly stay on top of this story for you. The Anti-Defamation League released their annual list of the top 10 issues affecting Jews in 2012. Among the issues listed were the recent rocket attacks from Gaza into Israel and responding Israeli airstrikes against Hamas terrorists, the threat of a nuclear Iran, the UN vote to upgrade Palestinian status, and the refusal of the International Olympic Committee to grant a moment of silence for the Munich 11 at this year's Games in London, as well as the resurgence of anti-Semitism in Europe, in particular the shooting attack at a Jewish school in Toulouse earlier this year. The list also included anti-Semitic incidents here in the U.S., noting that the year began and ended with such incidents, citing an incident in January when Molotov cocktails were thrown at a Jewish congregation in Rutherford, New Jersey, one of which was thrown through the window of the rabbi's residence there, forcing him and his family to flee. And most recently, a Hanukkah menorah that was vandalized on the campus of Northeastern University in Boston earlier this week. And finally, this month, the American Jewish community celebrates the 25th anniversary of the March on Washington for Soviet Jewry, which took place on December the 6th, 1987. It also happens to be the 20th anniversary of the first Russian-language channel in the U.S., created in direct response to Operation Exodus, to serve the needs of the Jews immigrating to the United States from the former Soviet Union. The channel is called the Russian Television Network of America and is known by the call letters RTN. RTN was created in 1992 by Rabbi Mark S. Golub, who also happens to be the president of Shalom TV, which is the second ethnic television channel he has created to serve the American Jewish community. The anniversary event was held at the premier Russian restaurant in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, National Restaurant on Thursday evening. The entire community came out to celebrate the event, including a large delegation from the Israeli consulate, as well as representatives from the Friends of the IDF. During the evening, the comptroller of the city of New York, John Liu, presented Rabbi Golub with a city citation honoring RTN's contribution to the citizens of New York City. All of us here at Shalom TV join in congratulating Rabbi Golub for his creations, RTN and Shalom TV. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader.